Did you know that podcasting is the new gold rush? Companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon certainly know that it is, and that's why they're wanting more podcast shows from interesting and beautiful souls just like you. Christine Blosdale is the author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Your Amazing Itty Bitty Podcast Book, and she wants to help you get your very own podcast out into the world. So to book a free podcast strategy session with Christine, visit ChristineBlosdale.com. Again, that's ChristineBlosdale.com and schedule a consultation. And trust me, you'll be happy that you did.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am really excited about today's show because I have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about the Akashic Records. We're going to be talking about the energy of money. We're going to be talking about how we can tap into our powerful resources that we don't even know exist, probably. And my guest who is going to be talking about all those subjects is the wonderful SHIVANY. SHIVANY is a highly sought after empowerment coach. She's a healer, intuitive, and just a beautiful spirit that came across. I don't even know how we found each other, but I saw you and I got those goosebumps. And I'm an intuitive business coach and podcast coach. And when I get those goosebumps, SHIVANY, I follow them. It's like a directive going, do this, talk to her. Mm-hmm. So I did get those goosebumps with you, and I got them right now going down my spine. So welcome to Out of the Box with Christine. I'm so happy to have you.
Look, I'm beyond delighted to be here. And I get the goosebumps. I think we all need to learn to trust how our intuition shows up. And do it, of course.
And I'm getting them now in my ears, on my in my earlobes. Which is really good. I have a picture, I have the Buddha behind me, and somebody else said that it looked like Kuan Yin. A wonderful healer said, that's Kuan Yin. I said, no, I think it's Buddha. And he goes, I think it's Kuan Yin. I said, okay, whoever. I said, but the earlobes, because I always have this thing about, I have really big earlobes. And so that's why I have this, I guess I go, well, if you can rock the big earlobes, right?
I can't see your big earlobes.
Oh, they're there. So let's get our listeners and our viewers acquainted with you, shall we? Obviously, I hear an accent. And so now I'm talking to you. You're in Australia. You're near Sydney, correct?
Well, 3 hours flight north of Sydney.
Oh, no. Okay. You're not, but you're in Australia. You're in Australia.
I'm in Australia.
And you don't sound very Aussie to me.
Oh, bugger.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you come from and how you discovered these beautiful gifts that you have.
Yeah, sure. Look, originally I was born in Germany, grew up there, hated it. Already when I was 15, it was like, get me out of here. And then when I had a chance to migrate to Australia in 1982, I moved to Australia and never regretted it.
And when did you discover you had this these gifts, these psychic gifts and healing gifts?
Look, I was born open already, but I made it very interesting because I chose a narcissistic mother and an atheist father. And I was a single child. So I very quickly realized that I'm crazy, right? Because everything I said was, don't say that. So I closed down pretty quickly, but my soul basically wouldn't leave me alone. And so already when I was 14, it was, well, why am I here? Who am I? What is this all about? And so it was a gradual, moving into like discovering yoga. That was huge. And then basically traveling a lot, going to ashrams, was a yogic nun for 2 years in Bangalore. came back to the West, realized I really needed to work on myself, did a lot of rebirthing. And so I added basically to my skill set over the years.
Yes. Well, and especially being born to a narcissistic mother, uh,
Mhm.
gave you some Jedi training at a very young age, I would expect. Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Because as a single child, you don't realize that it could be different. So I basically grew up believing I'm just totally unworthy. There's something wrong with me, right?
Yes.
And of course, the narcissists, they're very good at gaslighting you and, all that. But yeah, I've become a little Jedi.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Well, and the thing is I mean, have found that the things that happened to me as a child did prepare me for, I mean, as they were happening, you're like, this really sucks, or this is
Yeah,
ridiculous. What did I sign up for? That's what I remember is going, what the fuck
yeah,
did I sign up for?
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Get
But
me out of here quick.
yes, but
Yeah,
then later in life, I mean, and again, I just did a post on how we can look at things. It's here right now. It's like it's raining and it's cold, and so we can look at things and that story that I know with your clients, you probably deal a lot with that story that we carry with us. That I was an abused child, or I was my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my wife cheated on me, and those stories that we carry with us, especially the stories that our parents tell us, right? They
mm,
say you're not worth you're not worth anything, you're stupid, or this or that.
mm,
Sometimes we carry those into adulthood. And I know that with the people that you're working with in that they have their own business, they may be saying on a conscious level, of course I want to be successful, of course I want to have a great relationship with my spouse and my family, but those messages and those stories can really hold us back, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're so deep. Absolutely. And when I take on a client, I mean, I do share when I teach that business, especially if you're a spiritual entrepreneur, business is your whole life. Yeah. And so, but quite often I take on a client and she thinks it's all about business and strategy. And I'm going, no, let's have a look at your relationship first. Because, as an example, I had a client who had a partner or has a partner, and he liked to watch TV late at night, and she ideally would like to go to bed by 9 o'clock and get up early, and he would mope about and didn't like it. And so she would sit with him watching TV she didn't like till 11 or 12 o'clock, and it would really mess up her business but also her biorhythm. Yeah, and that not being able to set boundaries and not being able to put yourself first, and I call it being self-full, of course, moves across to business.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I like something that you say too, that to there's the way that we can work smarter, not harder. And a lot of people think that, and this is a myth, that you have to work hard, right? You have to sacrifice in order to succeed in business. And
Yeah.
I know that this isn't true. But telling this to people, sometimes they don't get it. Maybe you can express this better than I can. This idea, this
Yeah, sure.
concept.
Sure. Look, a lot of my clients are the overachievers, go, 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 let's do it. And as you mentioned, I look in the Akashic Records, and there is actually such a thing as a business record. And more often than not, And then, okay, so then we're really looking in detail. Is it the offer that needs changing? Is it the price point? Is it the content? Is it sales, marketing? So basically, a lot of what I see is a lot of people do a hell of a lot of work, like, you know, across many, many different platforms, and they don't need to. And so what I actually help people with is to streamline, and maybe we focus on one or two things, and that in itself creates relaxation. Yeah, so if you create an aligned step for you, there's relaxation with it, rather than, you know,
Well, I
throwing
equate it.
spaghetti on the wall,
Yeah,
basically.
I equate it to because some of the clients that I work with, they have again, they have their fingers in so many different things, right? And they're told from all these different experts, you know, you need to be on LinkedIn, you need to be doing Facebook lives, you need to be doing this, you need to be a marketing genius, you need to, you know, you need to do all these things. And I equate it to in the when I was really young, there was a show, a variety show. It was like the Ed Sullivan show. And it was, there would be a guy with a bunch of sticks and he'd put a plate on them and spin them. And he'd spin the plate and then he'd put another stick with another plate and spin that one. And after a while, there were like 10 plates spinning and the audience would be aghast, just like waiting for one of these to drop. And that's what it reminds me of the current entrepreneur. And so many, there's so many women entrepreneurs now. There's so many women that, and it's so beautiful because they're coming out. They're like, you know what? I want to have my own business. I want to take charge, but they're still spinning all those plates, the family plate, the kids plate, the, oh my gosh, I got to work out plate, the, you know, all those things. And it can really drive someone, you know, kooky after a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we really, I mean, our energy is finite. You know, you have so much energy coming through, and then it depends what sort of type you are. Yeah, it makes for burnout. And then add perfectionism into the mix.
Yeah, that thing.
That bit.
Well, and you had mentioned, and I know I can feel the listeners and the viewers on YouTube, they're in their head, they're going, she said something about the Akashic Records, and what the heck is that? Not a lot of people know about it. And it's something that I'm actually relatively new to. Can you explain what the Akashic Records are? And do we each have our own, or is there one that we all tap into? What is this? What is the Akashic Records? Is it like a really cool library that we don't know about?
Yeah, that's the one. So look, first of all, everyone has their own specific record, and it's basically an energetic database that records everything you've ever done across whatever lifetimes. It also records who you are at soul level, your divine gifts, your soul specialization, life lesson, that sort of stuff. And I think in the Bible, it's mentioned as the book of life. It's, yeah, very ancient. And it's rather cool because for me, that is literally my secret weapon. because when I know who you are at soul level, then we can align. Yeah. So if you, like, a lot of people actually don't do what they are really good at, that comes easy, because they don't even realize it's a gift. Yeah. So started working with a client, and she's still a chiropractor and body worker, also spiritual healer, and she's moved online. And so we've been working for probably 2 months, and then she mentioned, oh, I can read your body. I'm going, oh, you know, like you get your, I'm going, ooh, this is important. I'm inviting her and say, okay, give me a reading. And it was so amazing. And she went, doesn't everybody do that? I'm going, no.
No.
No, I can't do that. And she didn't realize that was one of her superpowers. And now she's doing Facebook Lives, and people are literally clamoring to get a little mini reading. And she just enrolled 30 people to her, what is she doing? I think 6 weeks program. Yeah.
Wow. So here's the thing, you have the ability to take someone and find out what their superpower is.
Yeah, with them. I mean, I'm always working with
Of
people
course.
rather than
Yes.
telling
Yes.
them. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Whether you are, I mean, it becomes a whole picture. Yeah, the soul profile has to be read together, but your soul specialization, your divine gift, for example, say divine power would be the demonstration of you can run with an idea, ground it, and be successful and demonstrate that. And divine power people are also really impatient. They hate actually making decisions because they don't want to close any doors. They need time out. They're not good in a team because they are really
This sounds
fast.
like me. Wait a
Yeah.
second. You're talking about me.
Possibly. So we also look at the shadow, right? So for example, my shadow, and I watched myself, I can become a information junkie. I love information, and I noticed I went astray by watching the news too often. It was, but knowing what your shadow is as well, and then remembering helps.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you work? Because now I'm going to get a session with you because I want to know. Well, because here's the thing is that, I know what I do. So I do a lot of different things. And that's part of my problem is that I do a lot of different things. But I know what's easy. I know what comes easy, and I know what is creative and fun for me. And so I try to tap into those things. But this is so valuable for those of us who are entrepreneurs and who want to really help, because this is the other thing. I want to be able to do something that I'm really good at, but I want that universal energy, that push from the universe that allows me to impact a lot of people, because that's what brings me joy. That's what brings me joy. It's not about making a lot of money and screwing over people or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's extremely valuable. So how do you work with clients? How does a typical session go?
Look, I do different readings, okay? And say if somebody signs up for 6 months, we're doing all the readings. So basically, all the work is done in the privacy of my own home first, before I even get on a call with a client. And I write it all down. And so the first reading that I take everybody through is the soul profile that I mentioned, but there comes another part with it. And that is like the soul profile is information, although really, really valid information, especially if you work with it. The second part is actually the transformation, because we are looking very deeply at, okay, where are the restrictions, the blocks, where's the karma? So we're bringing the unconscious, you're making the unconscious conscious. And the cool thing is we can actually clear it. And we are bringing, like, the soul gets injured because we've lived trauma. Yeah.
Many times, right? Like thousands of lifetimes. Yes.
And we don't realize what exactly it is. We only know that our life is not working. Yeah. So every time I do this, this happens. And I've cleared it 100 times, So this particular reading you do once a lifetime. So don't think it's just a psychic reading. And we do it once a lifetime because we can only clear as much karma without you going into a healing crisis. Yeah. And people basically report back, like the way I want to describe it, it's literally the cosmic boot out the door. It's like, out you go. So things that are really hard will be easier. You will feel different. You get more energy through more of your divine gifts. And of course, we are here in the physical, so we also need to take new physical action steps.
Yes.
To cement the shift. Yeah, and that is one reading. And you also do clearing and homework for 3 weeks. Another reading is a lot of people don't realize that at soul level, you're very differently wired. How you use the law of attraction, how you create, yeah, how you get from point A to point B. So, for example, a lot of coaches are goal orientated. Yeah, what's the big hairy goal? Chunk it down. Let's go for it. You could also be process orientated. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have a goal, but the process of becoming is more important to you than the actual goal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and knowing, yeah. Give you an example. When I had my manifesting blueprint, that was before I went online, and I was busy and trying to get clients, and I just didn't get anything. So I was busy going to network marketing. Then I tried my luck on Facebook. Anyway, nothing worked. And I inadvertently diluted my energy. And for me, first of all, I need to stay with 1 or 2 things that are new. I now expect to suck at it for the first 3 times, and I need to keep going till I get the result. And before I knew that, I would do something 2, 3 times, declare it doesn't work, went on to the next, on to the next. And the way of course, I didn't get any results because that's not how I'm wired. That makes sense. Yeah. So it's very practical, although totally woo, very, very practical.
Yes. Yes. And that's because, and again, that's because we learn and we adapt to things differently. There's some, it's basic, like when you're a kid in school, you know, some people do well reading. Some people do well when it's auditory, when they hear it. Others, they're visual as well. And some, it's a feeling. Like for me, like I base a lot of the things that I do based on that feeling, based on those goosebumps as well. That if I get like an icky feeling about something or someone, I'll go, you know, that's my intuition saying, no, maybe not, you know, maybe not today, but it's listening to that inner wisdom, which, and like you said too, we as you know, being in a relationship or having a family or starting a business, we dilute our energies because we're trying to do too many things at the same time.
Yeah.
And right. And then we
miss women
specifically. Women.
They're such pleasers, you know. We want to please everybody. It's such a disease.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yes. No, you talk about the energy of money, the energetics of money. And I think this is a fascinating subject because this is the elusive thing, right? We're so many of us, because we live in this world, in this material world, and we need to pay mortgages or rent. We need to go to the grocery store, and we can't just say, please give me food. We have to actually do an exchange. This can really muck up someone who is also more in the soulful universe. In other words, how do you get people to understand the energetics of money, of wealth, and how do you overcome those barriers that we have? Because so many of us are just caught up in, I need more money. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, God, it's a big question, and it has many different prongs, so to speak. And the first thing is, I would say that we are in a vibrational universe, that everything is energy, and whether we are aware of it or not, we are constantly emitting a vibration. And a vibration is really the sum, not just of how you feel or how you think, it's also who are you surrounding yourself with, what are you eating, how are you moving your body, your relationships. Yeah, it's everything. Okay, that's the starting point. Then, of course, we have our wounds that, especially now, I reckon, come up even more. Yeah, the fear of I'll be homeless, I'll lose my job, oh my God. Yeah, so we have wounds from childhood and even past lives, where, like, if we stay with this life, yeah, money doesn't grow on trees. You are greedy. Yeah, people with money are terrible. Yeah, whatever you grew up with. So you have that in the mix of your vibration. Yeah. And then, of course, you have the collective consciousness, which right now, I would say 99% of people are in fear. Yeah. So you have that on top. Yeah. And as soon as you engage in fear or stress, what happens is you contract, which also means you can't listen, you can't hear your guidance. Like any suggestion that might get you out of the hole, as in, I need more money, can't actually flow to you.
Right.
Because you're in fear or you're, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, money is neutral, totally neutral. Law of attraction is neutral. It's literally like a Xerox machine. Whatever you put out, you get back. So, yeah, the law of attraction doesn't say, hey, Christine looks amazing, let's favor her. But
yeah,
go
not?
over there, yeah, nah, yeah, and this other person, nah, don't like her face, she's not getting any money. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. But it's a lot of it is deserving. Do I deserve money? Do I believe I'm greedy? Like I had, when COVID started, I had a lot of people come and say, I can't sell anything. Oh my God, I can't just suddenly sell something for 10K because other people are suffering. And I'm going, well, do you want to suffer? Then don't sell anything. You don't have to throw yourself into the mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's that the fear that people right now are experiencing. It's also the scarcity model, and that's that there's not enough to go around. And it's not just happening like to a few people. I mean, it's happening to millions and millions of people. And that fear, that unknown, it's not that we're ever fully in control, or we've never been taught that we're fully in control. This is what one of the big myths are. But people feel so out of control right now. They feel that everything, you can't travel, you can't, now they just announced in California that with the Thanksgiving, you can't really have Thanksgiving like people have normally had. You have to have 6 feet between you, masks on. You can't, only when you're eating your potatoes and your turkey. And so it's just fear. Now, this is something that is important to talk about too, is what's happening globally. there is a perspective on it, right? There, you have a perspective on what's happening globally right now. Would you like to share that with us?
Yes, sure. Look, I'll do my best to look through spiritual eyes. I don't want to really get into the politics, but I'm also, apart from the Akashic, I'm very interested in human design. Don't know if you heard of human design. But I've looked at other, like more Indian, the Kali Yuga, like I looked at other systems. So basically, we are finishing a 412-year cycle. And the new energetic cycle, it's like a background frequency, starts in earnest in 2027. And we are basically moving from relying on the government. Like we were so brought up that, well, you pay your taxes, for that you get XYZ. Yeah. We are moving basically into individuality and into spirit. So the more you can actually really live and do your purpose, the better. We're also moving into, and you might have noticed it, it's me. It's all about me. That's part of the individualism. But of course, when we're heart-centered, we express it differently. And we are basically in a very intense period of breakdown. And so for those of you who think we're going back to normal, the bad news is no, we're not. And expect that, we're in lockdown, we're not, like all that, I think will take probably easily another year or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, what I also see globally is a lot of control is suddenly exerted by governments. Yeah. So yes, COVID is real, but I also feel there is an underlying agenda. Let's say
Oh,
it
yes.
this way.
Oh, yes. Yes, there is.
And what happens for me is that, like we also, I think whenever we see contrast, yeah, and we have plenty of contrast at the moment, you will also get usually another wish for what you want instead. And so for me, it was very clear that I really, really want to be sovereign. Now, sovereign for me doesn't just mean I have enough money. It also means I rely on myself. I have friends and family and community. Yeah, that's what I also see. We'll have more local community happening, but also sovereign in what I do, what I say. Yeah, and sure, we all need people, but my thing is I do not want to rely on the government if I can avoid it. If I can help it. Yeah.
I like to look at it this way, because yes, there is a power grab happening, and I do believe that we as human beings are yet again, they're trying to control us and to dampen our spirit a little bit, but it's only because I do think it's because so many people are waking up to their divinity. I think that the old, look, for for centuries, the church, right? The church, dogma, and then you have all this stuff happening with the priests, and you're going, oh, well, wait, this isn't really the, it used to be, you're nothing, you're born in sin, and you need to come through a priest or a holy person that's been anointed. You need to go through them in order to connect with God. And now, for the first time in our, in our history of being human beings, we are waking up to that divinity that's within us, and we're saying, I don't need to go to the church to get it. I don't need to go through this holy temple. My holy temple is right here. And I think that that is also why there is a bit of a clamp down, because there's so many people that are waking up to that. And you can't control people. You can't really control people when they have that connection to source. And so
Well, that's the
I think,
thing. The more fear, yeah, we have all this fear. That's how you control people, right?
yes,
Do you know what I mean? If you hook into the fear that's being told through the media constantly, they got you.
and there's a lot of people that are being caught up in that, but I still think that there's more that are waking up.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing I see, in a way, whatever is happening collectively is also happening individually. So collectively, as you said, we certainly, I mean, it happened already all the time. It's just we are now we're looking underneath the carpet, so to speak. So, the Me Too movement, the pedophile rings, like all the dirt that's been swept under the carpet is now suddenly for all to see. And guess what? The same needs to happen for us personally, because all the fear around money and not surviving or fear of death, right? We've all had that already. But now, of course, we can't avoid it anymore. It's in our face.
Yeah.
And I would say for those of us who woke up, it's time now to become the master. The student path is finished. We now need to master that. Because the good news is the spiritual laws have not changed. Doesn't matter what happens around us, outside, what governments are doing, we are still the creator of our own experience.
Mm,
Nobody can take away that.
I love that. I love that. And it's really, really important to have that message out right now, especially. And
Mm,
and so many of the people that tune into Out of the Box with Christine, so many of those people they're connecting to there's a new reality that is bubbling underneath the surface, so to speak. And that's what I want to encourage everybody to explore more. That's why I was so happy to meet you and to have you come on the show, because you remind us
mm,
of that personal power that we have,
yeah.
right?
And I tell you what, every one of my clients is making good money. Like seriously, I just had another PM. Somebody did 10 grand in 3 weeks. So, I mean, the money might leave us, who knows? But right now, the money, people are still investing money.
because
Yeah.
because it's there. It's just, and here's the other thing, when you think about it too, when you think about your bank account, you think about the money that's in there, it's just digits. It's
Mm.
it's really
It's
literally
and
digits on a computer, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And here's the other thing, you can't, like, if you're looking at buying something, whether that's a car or whether it's, say, an investment in your business, what I see a lot, again, I'm talking about vibrational. If you make the decision and you look at your bank account and you go, crap, only got 500 bucks in there, can't do it, right? Because that's our default mechanism. I want something, yes, I want this training, I want, whatever, no, can't do it. And you stop yourself. But what happens energetically is if you want something new, if you want to shift in some shape or form, you will be uncomfortable to start with because you're already stretching, and you need to make the decision around investment through looking into the future. And it will be uncomfortable. Yeah, because that's the other thing, like us spiritual folks, we have this idea of, oh, we just need to feel good all the time. And then if I don't, that's a sign that I shouldn't do it. Not true. You will be uncomfortable. If you up level, if you do something new, you just will be uncomfortable. And the more
Exactly.
you realize that, and you don't realize that it has to stop you, the more successful you will become.
It's stepping into those bigger shoes, so to speak. I remember having a challenge where I had an opportunity, and this opportunity would mean that I would have to be doing things that I had never done before. And I remember that little voice going, that's going to be too much for you. That's going to be overwhelming. Oh my gosh, you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to be a failure. And then
Mhm.
the bigger voice was like, well, you won't know until you try. And
Mm,
you can step into it and think about it this way. You're going to be learning a lot, and it's going to help expand you. And that's exactly what happened. Was
mm,
it expanded my synapses. I had to wear many hats. I was a manager of many people, very creative people. I had to deal with employees and legal and boards
yeah.
and all of that, and negotiating. But it really it helped me in so many different ways, in relationships and in business, because I stepped into that very uncomfortable
Mm,
position. Does that
yeah.
make sense? Yeah.
Oh, totally. Because I always tell people a yes is that you, like, your heart is excited, you are excited, and you also feel fear. That is actually a yes. And the reason for that is the soul always wants you to expand. The ego mind has the opposite job. It just wants you to stay in the same place and safe, and it doesn't want you to die, basically. But so the ego will always find incredible logical reasons. Yeah, and especially around money. Say you know you're struggling with your business, you know you need help, and you don't do it because it costs money. But people usually, you need to invest money in order to make money, especially if you get your goosebumps, like if it's aligned for you. Yeah, I'm not talking about just doing anything willy-nilly, but if you get a yes, you will know that then the ego mind will come in very logical, very convincing, and you stop yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's that investing in yourself, investing in upskilling, investing in, if it's equipment or training or coaching, that we get there and then we go, yeah, that fear comes in, and that yeah, no, I'll learn it another way, or I'll do it
Yeah.
another way.
Yeah.
I like to, because I personally upskill a lot,
Mm.
and I invest in my own business quite a bit. I like to, in addition to saying that I am putting this money towards helping build my business, I also like to say that I'm stimulating the economy. I
Mm.
do.
Yeah, because exactly, like if everybody decides not to offer something or not to buy anything, yeah, we don't have an economy.
No,
We-
and we need to keep the economy stimulated.
abs- yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
yeah.
something you talk about, and when with your clients, is an aspect that I've been doing for many years, and I love the concept of conscious marketing. And this is so beautiful because when in my other job as a fundraiser, I go on the air and I offer a thank you gift for a donation. This is for a nonprofit organization. And I make sure that everything that I offer to the listeners is something that I believe in it
Mm.
highly. that I use myself or that I know is going to enhance their lives in some powerful way. In other words, I'm not going to sell them something that is, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sell them
Yeah.
something that's crap. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it just for the sake of doing it. It has to be something that I really, truly love and use
Yeah.
myself or believe in. And that is that conscious marketing. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because that's one of my favorite subjects.
Oh, cool. Yeah, look, I mean, for me, because I work with business owners, they are usually healers, change makers, coaches. Yeah. So for me, conscious marketing is already, you need to align with your divine gifts. Yeah. Like at soul level. Um, and exactly like you said, you need to be excited about what you're offering, and you need energetically to really stand behind your offer. Yeah, like knowing, yes, if people buy that, their lives will literally change. um
I got
yeah, so,
goosebumps. I
and
got goosebumps.
yeah.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also, you know, be in the marketing who you are. So for example, if you are somebody as a coach that is, you know, pretty hard on people, and you swear, say, you know, and in your marketing you come across as this little, you know, mouse, there's, yeah, there's a
No connection. There's not going to connect.
yeah, so be in the marketing, be who you are. If you swear, swear, so people don't, you know, get offended, especially if they want to work with you. It's also about being really clear, who do you serve? What is your, who is your clientele? What's your niche market? And because for me, marketing is a selection, but it's also a deselection.
Oh, yes. Say that
Yeah.
again. Say that again, sister.
So marketing is also a deselection of people that you don't want to work with. It's not,
Exactly.
please, please, please come and
There's
work with
people,
me, and then you'll be very unhappy
there's
because you got
people
the wrong people.
there's people that could pay me $1 million gazillion dollars, and I'd be like, no.
Exactly. That is conscious marketing.
Yes. Yes.
And it works both ways. Yeah. I sometimes do say, look, it's not the right fit, but hey, I've got somebody else that I could refer you to. Check that person out. Yeah. And I think if you're congruent and, what's the word? Not congruent. Um, integrity. You're in integrity with yourself. Yeah, and with people will feel that. And even if you say, no, I don't want to work with you, you say it nicely, people really, really appreciate that. And the other thing is, it's again a sign to the universe to go, yeah, not this, and somebody else will come instead. I've had that happen. Yeah, because for some of us, it might be really hard. Here's a client wants to work with you, and you know already, for whatever reasons, no, doesn't feel right. Yeah, again, that is being in integrity. No, I'm not taking the money.
Yes.
And trusting.
And
Yeah.
trusting that something better. It's the same thing with relationships, right? You know, you I have friends that they're in a relationship and the person either, you know, cheats on them or treats them horribly or whatever, and they're just stuck on that person. They're like, that's it. This is the person. Why can't, and then it becomes like a psychosis and really affects them on so many different levels. And when you just think about it, like, you know, maybe your higher soul or the universe is, you know, moving that person out of your life for a reason, because because your true twin heart, your true soulmate, the human that is there meant to love you unconditionally and connect with you on a way that you've never thought was possible, they're right around the corner. But you're
Yeah.
hanging out with the loser, with the narcissist, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, because we are holding on, right? Because
that's the
that's the other
ego.
thing.
That's the
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, spiritually, we've always had the law of impermanence. Yeah, everything changes. But we've constructed up till to now, we have this mental construct of safety, of continuity, of but it's not true. We've been totally in an illusion. And it's catching up with us now, and a lot of people are scrambling.
Yes.
Because of that. But so even with money, so okay, let's go, the economy goes 10% down, which, it's really high. You still have people that have money. Yes, it might become a little bit smaller. And also, if you look through history, there are lots of people that literally became millionaires in a war or in a challenging economic situation. And I think we as coaches, whether it's life coaches or healers or business coaches, we are needed now.
Definitely.
Because the people that have jobs or, they need help with their mental health, with their,
Well, especially I find that a lot of my newer clients are people that they either had like a brick or mortar business or in-person business, and everything it's kind of like an ant farm, that's been shaken up, and they don't know which way is up. They're absolutely scared. And part of it for me when I work with people is just to explore what those other things are that they can do with the skill set that they have, and getting them out into the world. So if it's creating a podcast show or a YouTube channel or using it as a business builder, those things, the podcast or the YouTube channel, then at least that they're able to see that there's a way that they can pivot, right?
Yeah. And look, you can pivot. There's always a solution. Always.
I like that.
Yeah. Always. But we need to get still enough and open enough, receptive enough for it to land.
And what is so important right now is to, like you said, to find out what your soul really wants to do in this lifetime, what that magic key, so to speak, what your soul plan is, what your divine mission is. If you have that roadmap, if you have a map, you open it up and you're able to go.
Yeah, it makes it easier. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like having a GPS system to make things so much easier. I am so excited that that I met you. I will probably be setting up a session with you really soon.
Oh, I love to.
Well, and to see it, maybe I'm on my path. Maybe I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But you know what? I could always use assistance.
I think we all look. I still work with healers, as in doing my own sessions. I think we are always growing, and there'll be always more stuff that you can look at. Yeah. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that about you, that and it's always being able to be open to learning and growing. That is key. I think that is so important. And you're also sending that out to the universe to give you more of those beautiful lessons and expansion, which is so beautiful.
Yeah. And, at soul level, we are creative. Yeah. So even say you have a goal and you reached it, well, the soul doesn't say, oh, well, I'm done now. I'm good. It's like, oh, what can I create next? Yeah, we never, ever get it done. We are inherently creative. and want to move, see what we can create joyfully.
Ah, what a beautiful message. Shivani, let's throw out your website too, because I want people, they're gonna right now they're probably saying, how do I talk to her? I need you to talk to her. Of course, they can go to your website, right? It's shivany.com, SHIVANY.com. And then you also have a Facebook group as well, correct?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is Intuitive Biz, BIZ mentoring. So it's facebook.com/groups/intuitive biz, BIZ mentoring.
Don't
You
worry,
find
we'll have
me.
a link to
Yeah.
it. So it'll be, we'll feature the link in the show notes, so it'll be much easier for people to get to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the very least, you can go to shivany.com, SHIVANY.com. But we'll have links to both of those in the show notes. Shivany, I want to thank you so very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And
Likewise.
anytime you want to come back on, if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. I would be honored to assist you on anything that I can help you with. But thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
My pleasure. And I want to thank you, wonderful listeners and viewers that are on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Please remember to hit subscribe so you can be notified of future episodes. And as I always say, remember to think outside of that damn box. Bye for now.